Today we're diving into one of the most romantic and, let's be honest, most crowded spots in all of Mexico, Guanajuato's Callejón del Beso, the famous Alley of the Kiss. It's a place that promises legendary romance, but, it also comes with some very real-world risks. So how do you get that magic moment without falling for the tourist traps? Let's break it down. First things first, to really get what this place is about, you have to understand just how incredibly narrow it is. At its tightest spot, the alley is just 68 centimeters wide. That's about 27 inches. It's barely enough room for two people to squeeze by, which is kind of the whole point. And, as you'll see, also the whole problem. And this, right here, captures the dilemma perfectly. On one hand, you're promised 7 years of happiness for just one little kiss. But on the other hand, in that same crowded, you look away for a second moment, it takes literally 3 seconds for a pickpocket to ruin your entire trip. So, okay, let's start with the good stuff, the promise. What is the story that draws thousands upon thousands of people from all over the world to this tiny little corner of Guanajuato? Well, it all boils down to this almost Shakespearean legend, right? A story of two lovers from rival families who had to meet in secret across these balconies. And so, to get your own happily ever after, you and your partner stand on the third step, you lean across that tiny gap, and you share a kiss. The legend says you get 7 years of pure romantic bliss. I mean, how can you resist that? But this wasn't always some global must-see spot. After Guanajuato got its UNESCO status, the city got really smart and started building up tourism around these emotional, romantic stories. And then, well, what happened next? Social media got a hold of it and just blasted this local legend all over the world. So now, the alley is just a constant hive of activity, day in and day out. And all that popularity, of course, brings us to the flip side of the coin, the other side of romance, which is the on-the-ground reality that every single visitor really needs to be ready for. Someone online put it absolutely perfectly with this quote: "Forget any ideas of a wide-open romantic plaza. The real experience is a lot more like being squished into a subway car at 5:30 p.m. And in that kind of environment, being aware is, well, it's everything." Yeah, professional thieves, they're smart, and they often work in teams using this classic 3-step move. First, one person creates a distraction. Maybe they ask you a question or just cause a little commotion. Then a second person accidentally bumps into you in the chaos. And in that split second, while you're looking the other way, your phone or your wallet is just gone. It happens so fast. Okay, so that's the risk. But here's the good news. It is almost entirely preventable. So let's get right into the playbook for a smart, safe, and still romantic visit. First up, timing is absolutely critical. If you can swing it, go before 9 a.m. on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Seriously, you might have the whole place to yourself. The absolute worst times? Weekends and big holidays, like Valentine's Day. You'll spend way more time shuffling in a cramped line than actually, enjoying the moment. Second, you gotta secure your stuff. If you have a backpack, wear it on your chest, not on your back. A crossbody bag? Swing it around so it's in front of you. And your phone and wallet should always be in a zipped front pocket, never ever in your back pocket. These little changes make you a much harder target. Okay, let's talk money. You are probably going to run into some local photographers who will offer you access to the famous balconies to get that perfect photo. You should expect to pay somewhere between 50 and 100 pesos. That's about $3 to $6. And you know what? It's a pretty fair price for the service if you really want that iconic shot. But, and this is a big but, you're never ever required to use their services. If you're not interested, the two most powerful words you can learn are simply no gracias. Say them politely but firmly, and just keep walking. Don't feel like you have to get into a big discussion or anything. So here's the thing. Avoiding trouble in the alley isn't about being some kind of tough guy. It's about not making a few really simple, really common mistakes. Let's break down the top 3. The biggest mistake, hands down, is just carrying your valuables carelessly. It might feel convenient to have your phone in your back pocket, but the real cost isn't just a stolen phone. It's the $1,000 replacement, plus wasting 2 whole days of your vacation at an embassy trying to get a new passport. It's a nightmare. Mistake number 2 is just bad time management. People block out half their day for the Bali Alley, but this chart shows you the reality of it. Most of that time is spent just standing around in a line or getting stuck in a cafe nearby. The actual experience, super brief compared to all the hassle. And finally, mistake number 3 is just not being prepared. Pro tip, leave your actual passport locked up safe in your hotel. A simple color copy of it, plus your tourist visa, can handle 90% of any ID situations you'll run into, and it is an absolute lifesaver if your wallet does go missing. Now, this table really puts it all into perspective. If you look at other big attractions in Guanajuato, like the beautiful Teatro Juarez or the monument to El Pipila, the Callejón del Beso is a total outlier. It's that unique combination of very high crowds in a super confined space that creates that elevated risk of theft. So, with all of that in mind, we arrive at the final and maybe the most important question of all. Should you even go? Let's figure out if this experience is actually right for you. I mean, it really does boil down to this one question, doesn't it? Is the promise of that legendary romantic kiss really worth dealing with the crowds and having to be on high alert the whole time? And let's be totally honest here, this place is not for everyone. The alley is literally just a bunch of steep steps, so if you have any mobility issues, it's pretty much a no-go. And if you're someone who just despises crowds and values your personal space, well, this whole experience could be really, really frustrating for you. But let's end on a fantastic piece of advice from a local guide. The key is to be proactive. Don't wait until you're already in the crush of people to secure your bag. Do it before you even set foot on that first step. That one simple habit, they say, eliminates most of the risk right there. And it's so important to remember this. Guanajuato is a safe city. Your goal in the alley isn't to avoid some kind of violent crime. It's just to prevent a crime of opportunity by being a little bit smarter than the person next to you. This is all about awareness, not about fear. And this final thought really just says it all, doesn't it? The tips we've talked about aren't some special secret just for Guanajuato. This is just good travel sense for any busy tourist spots anywhere in the world. So by all means, go. Enjoy the legend. Get your kiss. Just don't make it easy for someone to ruin your day.